It's December 1992, and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is teaching an entire generation how to dance. This was also the month when Amy, the Long Island Lolita Fisher, went to prison. Sports Illustrated named Arthur Ashe the Sportsman of the Year. A few good men demanded the truth, but couldn't handle it at the box office. Halle Berry married baseball star David Justice. And Whitney Houston dominated both the airwaves and the Billboard Awards with a Dolly Parton cover. But I'm not here to always love you because we're going to be counting down diehard game fans' top 26 games of December 1992. Bittersweet memories, that's all I'm taking with me.
Hey now kids, it's a brand new beat, a great new toy you can wear on your feet. It's skip it.
Take off the skirt, great bikini, kick off the sand. Cool.
It's time to go for a swim.
You think you can knock out these bricks?
No problem.
Without making the wall fall?
Let's rock and roll.
Up first at number 26, we have Forgotten Worlds on the TurboDuo. This one should have been called Forgotten Graphics. What happened? This is a Super CD, and Zonk blows it out of the galaxy. No scrolls. What gives? This once mighty Capcom two-player shooter now sports major flicky, frequent access delays, and only one player. Oh well, it does have good music, and hey, it's still Forgotten Worlds. Number 25, Super Valis 4 on the Super Nintendo. At first I thought that this one may be pretty good. The graphics are great and the soundtrack is one of the best I've heard. But after a few levels, I found myself falling asleep at the controller. There's just not enough here. High frustration and missing moves killed the game. Well, better than a poke in the eye. Number 24, WWF Super Wrestlemania on Genesis. Okay, I'll admit it, sports games aren't my specialty. But I do get a kick out of being able to give an elbow sandwich to any unworthy opponent when given the chance. And that is what WWF is all about. This game card has some fun gameplay and cool graphics that should keep any wannabe wrestlers busy for a while. Too bad about Skid though. Broken any controllers lately? Number 23, X-Zone on the Super Nintendo. Stand in front of your TV with a bazooka and you're either a raving loon or you just got X-Zone. This second game for the Super Scope is much better than the pack-ins, mainly due to the two viewpoints, and you don't get a headache looking through the scope. Just blast away. Good stuff. Number 22, Dragon's Lair on the Super Nintendo. Since I can't have the arcade version on a home system yet, this one will definitely do. The graphics are big and colorful, plus great music and sound effects to boot. The only thing is that it might take you a while to get used to the control. Regardless, Dragon's Lair is worth the price of admission. Number 21, Shadow of the Beast on the TurboDuo. Shadow of the Beast gets two much needed improvements on the Super CD that were absent on the Genesis. The addition of an option screen to set up your game and one of the best soundtracks you'll ever hear. My only complaint is the lack of scroll in the underground levels. Other than that, I would say that this is the best version so far and a solid title for a new system. Number 20, Soldier Blade on the TurboDuo. Soldier Blade is a direct descendant from the ever-popular Super Star Soldier and has all the overhead shooting that you can stand packed into a 4-meg cart. The graphics are great with huge bosses, lots of color, and of course scrolls. With killer weapons at your disposal, this one will make you crazy! Number 19, Power Drift on the TurboDuo. Though not even close to the arcade rush, this version is stupendous for a 4-meg game, with great cartoony graphics, good sound effects, and addicting gameplay. If you don't have a TurboGrafx 16 or PC engine, go find one! Number 18, Sonic Blast Man on the Super Nintendo. Sonic Blast Man is the best superhero game that I've played in a long time, combining superhuman moves in a Final Fight style action game format. I'm not normally a fan of the boring kick and punch style game, but I found this one held my interest thanks to the killer moves and some awesome special effects. Taito finally hits the mark. Number 17, Steel Talons on the Genesis. The first polygonal game on the Genesis that doesn't make me want to throw my controller. Talons mixes simulation and shooting very well and gives you 3 play choices and 2 viewpoints, creating a lasting challenge and an impressive overall package. The best in its class. Number 16, Chiki Boys on the Genesis. Here's a nice little arcade translation from the boys at Sega. The overall quality and fun is faithfully duplicated, making it a must-ola for action platform gamers. The only thing missing is a 2-player feature. Other than that, it's a totally awesome game. I'll take as many of these as they'll give us. Number 15, Time Gal on the Sega CD. Laserdisc games never really interested me, pumping in your life savings to memorize a game. But now that you can play it at home, it's a whole new experience. Even though the theme is a bit loony, I had a lot of fun playing Time Gal. Heck, I'd buy it just to watch the animation. But it could use a little more interaction. There's always Road Blaster. Number 14, Chuck Rock on the Super Nintendo. This new version of the scroungy cave dweller that we've all come to know and love is excellent, with new backdrops and big Super Nintendo sound. Maybe Chuck's not the best role model, being a fat pig and all, but he sure makes for a fun evening. Unga bunga!
So, let me repeat your order here. That'll be 1 double cheeseburger, ching. Large fries and a large soda, ching.
Why do they call you Count?
Because kids can count on 2 chocolatey reasons for liking my Count Chocula cereal.
2 reasons?
Cowabunga, Daddy-O! I think we can all agree that Die Hard Game Fan is the cat's pajamas. It's the real bee's knees, top drawer stuff. Unfortunately, some of the tubular slang terms that they use are a little like, BC, dude. In order to translate these terms, it's time to open up the Die Hard Game Fan Dictionary. When you hear the word scroll, you probably think of this, a roll of paper that people write on. You know, like the kind of thing that you would see in a Ninja Gaiden game. But hang on, Ryu Hayabusa, because that's not the kind of scrolls that Die Hard Game Fan is talking about. When Skid, Brody, E-Storm, and everybody else at the magazine mention scrolls, they're specifically talking about independently scrolling backgrounds. Let me explain. You have to understand that it used to be that video game backgrounds were flat and moved with the character when you were playing. However, as technology advanced and 16-bit systems began to take over, one of the ways they could flex that power was by adding multiple scrolling backgrounds that would add some much-needed depth to the 2D games. A great example of this was Sword of Vermilion's title screen, which had a staggering 10 layers of independently scrolling backgrounds, creating what was at the time a really cool effect. Obviously, this isn't as impressive these days, but critics ate that shit up in the early 1990s. It was a big deal, which is why you're gonna hear it come up over and over and over again in these Die Hard Game Fan reviews. Think about it like ray tracing today. It's new and exciting now, but if we fast forward a few decades, everybody's gonna be laughing at how primitive those 2022 reviews sound. Yeah, time's cruel like that. And we're back with number 13, Muhammad Ali Boxing on the Genesis. Ali is boxing done right. This game has everything that would-be contenders could ask for. Bone-crushing sound effects, spurts of blood, and ring rotation. Plus a bodacious babe between rounds. The guys at Virgin must know something the others don't. Number 12, Space Megaforce on the Super Nintendo. You'll get a big yawn from me when you even mention an overhead shooter, as I could fill my tub with the ones I don't like. But this one is quite the dazzling shooter, leaving a huge challenge behind for those who dare to compare. Best overhead for the Super Nintendo. Number 11, Sonic Brawl on the Neo Geo. Here's what I like about the guys at Alpha. When they make a sports game, they manage to break the mold every time. First with 2020, now with Soccer Brawl. If you pass this one up because it's soccer, think again. This is more like war. Who cares what the score is? You'd be too busy blasting and laughing. Lasting power, a must for Neo Geo owners. Number 10, Batman Returns on the Game Gear. This may come as a surprise, but there's actually another good game for the Game Gear reminiscent of Shinobi and Sonic. Remember? Batman is animated extremely well, and some of the best graphics you'd ever expect from an 8-bitter. Bring me more! Number 9, Equinox on the Super Nintendo. Got a week? Maybe a vacation coming up? Plan on parking it for a while with this no-sleeper from Sony. Amazing sound and graphics keep you going on this one, and you'll be pulling out your hair and tossing controllers all night. Whether you're into action, RPGs, or whatever, Equinox is a true test. Excellent. Number 8, Road Rash 2 on the Genesis. As a major Rash fan, I had high expectations of what Road Rash 2 would have to offer over the first. I'm happy to say, EA came through. All the head-bashing, rubber-burning action of the original is here with many added improvements, including a 2-player split-screen option. This game is a must-have, so grab a controller and catch some air. Number 7, Sunset Riders on the Genesis. Would you expect anything other than a shining score for a Konami game? Sunset Riders, besides being an absolute blast, is put together incredibly well with some solid, addicting gameplay from start to finish. It's a little short, but it's unique and fun to play over and over. And it comes complete with some great cowboy tunes. Sends you straight into the Wild West, without the dust. Number 6, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist on the Genesis. Turtles on the Genesis is a beat-em-up blast-a-minute with scorchin' turtle tunes, hordes of kooks to bash, and some of the best character animations you'll ever see. Forget about pumping in those silver slugs, Konami brings the arcade thrills home. I want more! Number 5, Air Zonk on the TurboDuo. This futuristic, little big-headed buzz rod of a bonk makes for one of the best side-scrolling shooters on any system. In its class, this game is totally unique in every way. I hope these programmers are doing Bonk 3. I'd buy a Turbo for this game alone. Number 4, Steel Talons on the Lynx. The next best thing to the arcade, Steel Talons on the Lynx, is done complete justice. This game fortunately does not suffer from the chop found in hard driving. The control is excellent, and as always on the Lynx, the voice is clear and precise. How do they do this on the Lynx? Number 3, Cybernator on the Super Nintendo. Konami has maxed out the Super Nintendo this time with Cybernator. Coming close to perfection from the graphics and music, nothing was overlooked. It's like playing a movie with a full musical soundtrack and intense storyline that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Possible contender for the Game of the Year. Number 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Genesis. I've been drooling for this one ever since Part 1, and Sega came through. Sonic 2 is amazing, faster and nastier than ever, spinning through awesome new zones that'll make your eyes bug out. Running so fast that I thought my monitor would explode. The creativity and attention to detail is remarkable, and to finish it with all the Chaos Emeralds is a worthy challenge for even the best players. I won't even mention the big surprise. You'll see. And Die Hard game fans' number 1 game for December 1992, Viewpoint on the Neo Geo. With more titles like this, there'd be a Neo Geo connected to every gamer's TV. Everything about Viewpoint is mind-blowing. The graphics are like nothing you've ever seen at home or in the arcades, and are all done with shaded polygons. The music is also worth mentioning with its full techno-pop beat. Viewpoint is reason enough to go out and purchase a Neo Geo right now.
They're squirmy and wormy and purple and green, the grossest little creatures that you've ever seen.
Funny thing about life, one day you're shrunk, next day back to work, delivering Kellogg's Cinnamon Mini Buns and discovering new occupational hazards.
There's no sign of the Monitor in this issue, but just like the first episode, they make up for it with another fascinating interview with a cool industry player. This month it's Masahiro Akishino, the managing director of Wolf Team, who is busy porting old Laserdisc games to the Sega CD. He revealed that it only takes about 3 months to transfer games like Time Gal and Revenge of the Ninja. He also explained that while it's technically possible, pausing a Laserdisc game would make it too easy. Later he would tell Game Fan that he had 20 programmers on duty 24 hours a day, and that they were all excited to get to work on games for the Super Nintendo CD-ROM. Thankfully, that add-on never came out, so those lucky developers were able to get some much-needed sleep. And now, a peaceful moment brought to you by Die Hard Game Fan. Game good. Pick up Rock and Smash. Boing with Fat Belly. Me. Fight many creatures on land, sea, and in the air. Make me not die. You have no continues. Me stay dead. You go back to start. Hey, thanks for watching us count down the best and worst games in Die Hard Game Fan's second issue. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we're going to be posting another 86 episodes. Tune in next Monday for episode 3. Now, here's the question I have for you. What gaming advancement impressed you the most? I mean, you see how impressed the Game Fan editors were about scrolling backgrounds. What is your scrolling background? What enhancement left you speechless? Let me see your memories in the comments below. In other news, we'll be back later this week with more reviews. While you wait for that, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,